Happy December 1st. It is 7:25 in the morning. We got up a little after 6 this morning, and yeah, have just been waking up, drinking coffee. I did a little bit of knitting because I want to finish my like fall themed socks before, well, I wanted to finish them before December 1st, and that didn't happen, but I'm very, very close. I have like 5 rows of ribbing left or something like that. But anyway, I'll show those to you. But I wanted to kind of talk to you about Vlogmas this year. As those of you who have watched for years know, I have done Vlogmas like every single year for I don't know how many years, a very long time, 6 years, 7 years, and I'm really hoping to do it again, but life is really busy. I haven't posted anything, I believe, up on my channel in just about a year because I did Vlogmas last year, and then I attempted a couple of times to record a podcast, and I did, and then I never was able to edit it, upload it. There were some technical issues, there were some timing issues, and yeah, so the podcast has been put on the back burner. Not that I haven't wanted to do it, but it's just been really, really difficult to find the time. I have a very, active 4-year-old and 1-year-old now, and I started a new job. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, you would have seen maybe that I no longer work at Knit Circus, which is really sad. I miss it a lot, but it was time for me to kind of move on to something. And yeah, so I no longer work there. It was a big transition. I started in October I had to get some certifications, and then I started my job beginning of November. So it's been almost a month. And yeah, it's been a big transition, but it's good, and it was what was needed. But yeah, I miss my yarn dyeing a lot, and yeah, I'm hoping that I can kind of ease my way back into podcasting. So we'll see how Vlogmas goes. But anyway, I wanted to start out this morning because I do have time. It's a Sunday, which is really nice for the first day of Vlogmas. And Weston, my 1-year-old, is still sleeping, and Hudson is with his dad out in the living room. And I thought I would open my first day of my yarn advent, and I'd show you my latest design. So, what should we do first? Let's open my yarn advent. So this is from Rising Tide Fiber Company, and I have never had yarn from them before, but I follow them on Instagram, and I really like doing a different company like every year. I'll go back to my favorites. I have my favorite dyers, but there's so many out there. They have such great themes. This one is a Candyland theme, which I absolutely love. Candyland was my favorite game growing up. It was kind of a special, I associate it with my dad because he would play Candyland with me. And we had these like little rituals that we would do with Candyland, and yeah, so I associate that with him. And then now I play it with Hudson, my 4-year-old. And so it just has really good like memories and stuff, and just super fun theme. So this first day is called Ice Cream Slopes, and let's see what it looks like. Ooh, very fun. I knew that Rising Tide was going to have a lot of fun speckles and colors in it. Yeah, I think this is going to be really fun. So these are 10 gram minis. And this is, I think, an 80/20 2-ply base, which is pretty much my favorite yarn base, fingering weight yarn base to work with. And yeah, I'm really, really excited for this one. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to knit with these yet. I was thinking I want to knit a cowl because they're 10 grams. And if I use, you know, half of it or so, I might still be able to have a little bit left over for my cozy memory blanket. What I really like to do is, I've only done this one, I think one other time, and then I have last year's Advent, I have leftovers that I can do this with too, but I like to put a square of each, you know, Advent color in that blanket. It only uses about 5 grams, and then use up the other half like for my Advent project. Last year's Advent I knit into a blanket, and I'm going to show that to you in a second because it's a new design. And I have about 4 to 5 grams left of each one because these were 20 gram minis. So I used about 15 or so grams for each stripe. But yeah, if I just do like a smaller cowl, like smaller striping in some sort of stitch pattern, or I might look online. I kind of perused online a little bit on Ravelry, but I also thought maybe I would design something. I don't know. It's been really fun to design an Advent project. So this is the Love Light blanket, and I posted about it quite a bit on Instagram in the last couple weeks, and blown away by, I mean, okay, I've designed things in the past. You guys know that. But, you know, I've never had a project really like get a lot of attention, like a good amount, especially the ones that we did for Knit Circus. You know, there's a good amount of activity and purchases, and you know, it's been great. But this one in the last couple weeks has really exceeded any of those. It hasn't gone like viral, the Ravelry, you know, equivalent of viral, but it has gotten, you know, a good amount of likes and saves in favorites and purchases. So that is just really, really cool. And I'm so, so, so grateful. It's a really fun, squishy texture. It's pretty big for only using like 15 grams of each color. I mean, I used like, this whole thing took almost 2,000 yards because 24 mini skeins, 15 grams of each. I mean, that's almost 5 full skeins of yarn, which is kind of unbelievable to think about. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty nice. It's this beautiful, like, squishy texture. It's a 2-row repeat, so it's not really that difficult to memorize at all. I mean, if you can read your knitting, then you're golden. Or if you can't, you just mark what's the right side, and then you know what row you're on, because you can kind of memorize the right side versus the wrong side row. And then you just, you know, put a locking stitch marker or a progress keeper on the right side, and then you can always tell where you are when you're starting your new row. You don't have to look at a pattern. You just, you know how many rows to do with each color, and then the transition rows, and you're golden. So that's what I really like about this project. I've been using it. It's lightweight, but it's still warm because it's, you know, I think this base is 80% merino wool. This is my Ruby and Roses advent calendar from last year. So if you watched Vlogmas last year, you would have seen me open all of these. And yeah, I started this blanket in June and finished it end of October. Finally got photos taken and the pattern written up and published end of November. So there was a couple of weeks before Vlogmas, before Advent, before December started, for people to sort of find their project that they're going to do for their yarn advent. And yeah, the nice thing also about this project is if you decided not to get a yarn advent, if you didn't want a yarn advent, if you weren't able to get a yarn advent, this also is really great for any leftovers, because in the pattern, I talk about how many grams of yarn each like row will take. So if you know you have more than 20 grams or more than 15 grams, you can just do the pattern as you would like to. But if you have a little bit less and you still want to put a stripe in, you can, count how many rows that would be. And if you want to do the stripes bigger, if you have like 30 grams and you want to use up that entire little like mini skein or something or leftover, you can just, knit the whole thing and figure out how many rows that would be, save some for your transition rows, and go on to the next one. So you can use it as like a scrappy blanket too, which is really nice. And I actually I have one started, like more of a scrappy version, but I have to decide whether or not I want to knit up, like finish up the yarn that I have, the scrap that I have, or if I want to do only the number of rows that are in the pattern. So I'm not 100% sure yet, but I won't be doing that one for a while, because I have a couple things I want to knit for Christmas, and I have this year's advent, which would be great if I could use it up, because I still have my project going from my 2021 advent, about halfway done with that one, and I have my 2022 advent, which is just waiting for me to have the time to knit it up into something. I know what I want to knit with that one. But yeah, so we'll see. But I wanted to show you quick before I get on with my morning, my fall socks, which are still in my fall bag. This one was given to me a long time ago by a viewer. I don't believe it's Twisted Threads, but I don't think she's making bags anymore. But I still use it every fall. I love this bag. And this is from Birch Grove Yarn. I think it's called Maple Leaf. I think that's the colorway. I got it a couple years ago. Or was it last fall? Maybe it was last fall. But I really wanted to use it this year. So this is sock number 1. I just did like a broken seed stitch just to give it some texture, nothing too fancy. Added some purl bumps in there. I do a fish lips kiss heel every time, and I do my socks toe up. So started, I try it on until it's ready for the heel, do my fish lips kiss heel, and then I usually do a shorter leg. I'm not a huge fan of long socks. I feel too like restricted in them, but I like, not quite an ankle sock, but a little bit in between of an ankle and a crew. So yeah, and then I just did 10 rows of a 2x2 rib, bound off. And then I'm so very close to finishing the second one. So I do it magic loop, toe up, like I said. And I think my socks, I have 56 stitches. And yeah, I think that's all the info. I'm not used to podcasting anymore, so I'm trying to be concise and informative and interesting. But yeah, I really am hoping. I love doing Vlogmas. I love sharing. I love using it as kind of, home videos that I piece together and I can look back on. Watching, oh man, this time of year, I'm getting like, I don't know, as a mom of 2 now, I can't really consider myself like postpartum anymore. I'm 15 months postpartum, but I'm like super emotional especially during the holidays, like I'm gonna cry. But like looking back on the Vlogmases I did when like Hudson was Weston's age, and like looking at where we were in our life then, and him being so little, and oh my gosh, like the years are just going by so fast. So having all those videos of like what we were doing and decorating the tree and listening to music and just everyday life, just, you know, eating breakfast together or whatever it is that I end up filming. It's really fun to look back on. So I'm really, really hoping to be able to do it and not annoy my family too much. Now Hudson's very much aware of my phone and my camera, and like I don't want anything to interrupt our days or interrupt our time together, but I want to log a little bit of our lives during the Christmas season. So yeah, hopefully that is possible. Before I sign off here, and I'm sure I will check in at some point later today, but I wanted to just mention my sweater because you have probably noticed it. This is a Jennifer Steingass sweater. Not 100% sure what the name of it is. I knit it quite a few years ago out of Knit Circus yarn, and this is not a fingering weight, this is a worsted weight. I did a like solid color for the body, and then this we used to dye up 75-gram gradients. So this is just like a very subtle blue gradient. You can kind of see, I don't know if the camera's picking it up very well, but it's lighter up here and darker down here. So that's really cool to see it transition. But they, Knit Circus, I still consider it a we. I'm still, you know, involved in whatever way I can be from afar, and really hoping to get together with Bug, the owner. She and I worked, just the two of us, for the last year, so we got really close. Went to, you know, we traveled to shows. We went to Colorado for the Estes Park wool show. We, you know, went down to Chicago. We always go up to Minnesota for a fiber festival up there. So we had spent a lot of time together, became really good friends. I miss her a lot. Haven't seen her since I transitioned jobs because we've both been really busy, but I'm really, really hoping, we're both hoping to be able to like have a knit day or a little bit of time to get together and knit. So yeah, hoping for that. But yeah, they don't do 75-gram gradients anymore. They did do 50-gram. Not sure how much like dye to order stuff is going on right now because it's just Bug now, and she's kind of paring back the offerings, and understandably, because it's very difficult to do it, you know, all on your own, and gradients take a lot of manpower, a lot of work, a lot of time. So anyway, I just wanted to point out my sweater. I love this sweater. It's so warm and cozy, and today is super, super chilly. It was like 12 degrees when I woke up, and yeah, I don't think it's gonna get probably much above 20, so pretty typical for Wisconsin in December, but still pretty cold. So anyway, I'm gonna go see how everybody's doing out there. I'm wondering if Weston's awake now, and I don't hear anything, but you never know. And we're gonna eat some breakfast and move on with our day. So yeah, wish me luck. I hope to see you guys as the season progresses, and hopefully I'm not just recording this to have it sit on my phone for a while. So I'll talk to you soon. you.